Chick, you were at the Jets practice, and also you were at Miami practice yesterday. What was the major difference you saw?
Well, I mean, there's so many different things that take place in a practice. And first off, as I'm sure you guys have well documented, the two facilities are phenomenal. Just absolutely phenomenal, right? You walk in there and you can see that look on the commander's face. It's like, oh, well, this is what it's supposed to be like. It's not their fault, and it's not the current ownership's fault. So I think that'll be rectified in the years to come. But I just, you see, like there was and I pointed out to BMitch later, there was a bucket throwing contest at the end of practice where the quarterbacks, both teams, and some assistant coaches were throwing a 35-yard pass into not a bucket, but a little screened bucket. I only saw one ball out of 25 plus balls go in that bucket. That belonged to Jaden Daniels. I'm like looking, going, how is Tua not hitting that thing? How is nobody else hitting that thing? But as far as your question goes, I just saw crispness again. I see guys excited to go against each other. There was a lot of jawing back. There was certainly a lot of chippiness for sure, which is going to happen. And then to be inside that bubble for the final plays, and of all guys, Kendall Fuller to get the game, the practice-ending interception for him to do a little woofing at the sideline of his former teammates. That's just a lot of fun to watch these guys having fun. They're having a lot of fun while playing.
So it was interesting. Kendall was asked about that after when he talked, and you know what he actually did was the old school flight marshal celebration that they were doing when he was drafted. And it's just crazy to think that wasn't that far long ago, but it feels like a different universe when he was drafted and they were competing. And I mean, Scott McLuhan drafted Kendall Fuller. How long ago does that seem?
It seemed like an eternity.
That's amazing.
I think having some tackles made a big difference in practice yesterday.
Sure.
And they should have them tomorrow night. How do you think Jaden will handle playing behind this O-line?
Oh, I think he handled his one series last week without having his tackles there. So I think he'll be fine. I think they'll play him a good amount more, probably first quarter or so, I think, get a good feel for the ones. And look, he's, as everybody has said, he is light years ahead when it comes to his preparation for a rookie, right? We've talked to several coaches over the last couple of weeks, and it's cool to be on the road with them where you just sit in the lobby and just have a quick chat. And, you mentioned Jaden and their eyes light up and go, holy cow, this guy so on top of things with his teammates, right? Most importantly, almost with his teammates, that locker room. He's got that part not figured out, but he's taking the time and energy to do that, to text folks, to make sure everybody's on the same page. As we've talked about, will it equate to wins? Don't know. Can't say that. But you can say that this is going to be a better product, I think, in watching these guys and watching this coaching staff. It's a different vibe. I hate the word vibe, but it is different. And they have an intentionality about them.
Yeah, I just think that, people are saying these things because they see it. And if you're around it, you understand it. It doesn't guarantee anything, but if you don't do the stuff that he's doing, you damn sure won't be winning anything. For those out there that may think that he's getting too much praise, what do you say to them?
Who? Daniels?
Jaden.
Yeah. Well, I'd say to them, shut the hell up, for one. It's not too much praise. Nobody that I know that's in the business and any coherent fan would say, okay, the guy was really good in college. He's doing the right thing to be a pro. Let's see what happens. Those who are saying, oh, we're going to the playoffs, blah, blah, blah. You can't do that. You can't put that on him as well, right? I mean, they brought in, they drafted him, right? They got Austin Eckler, a free agent acquisition that can lighten the load for B-Rob and for Jake defensively. Bobby Wagner, a quarterback on that defense who's setting the tone for everybody in that room. And another rookie, and Mike Sammer still, right? Who we talked to last night, B? I mean, they were talking about just the fact that he was taking care as a rookie of his defensive unit when it comes to snaps and text, all that jazz. So they are doing the right things before they play their first regular season game.
It's going to be fascinating to watch, talking with Chick Hernandez. Calling the game with BMitch tomorrow. You can watch it on Channel 9. What time? 7 o'clock kick? What time is this game?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
Glad y'all said that. I sure thought it was 7:30. I got to be there at 5 o'clock, so no matter what time I was going to be there.
I tell you what, I wish it was earlier, man. That noon game, dude, I was home by 8 o'clock last week. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, that was nice.
Oh.
But another night in Florida won't hurt you.
Sure. Defensively, what are you hoping to see? What do you want to stand out tomorrow night?
Boy, to stand out. Well, we know what the tackles will do, and I think even the tackles. What did Joe Witt say last week? He was surprised by how disruptive they were. So John Allen, Deron Payne, they're going to be who they are. I just want to see that mesh of Jeremy Chin, he's an awfully big safety, working.
He's huge.
Right, he's huge, right? I mean, I just want to see what's the word? Just a chemistry in that secondary. I mean, and watching the practice yesterday, okay, there were some holes, right? The guys, it's just a 7-on-7 or 11-on-11, but there are some holes there. I mean, they got open. So, and Tua could deliver it. I want to see a little more cohesion there. And we continue to harp on Emmanuel Forbes, really good across the middle, really good horizontally. Yesterday, he was pretty good on the deep route, by the way. I know he got a couple plays there. So I want to see his progression and people to see that this guy is, he's doing everything he can to be a better corner in this league.
Yeah, I think what happens, like people start hearing us saying positive things about certain people, and then they automatically assume everything is perfect. It's not perfect. You want to see the constant growth in it. Listen, John and Deron has done a lot for a long time now. You want to now see how Dorrance and also Cleveland are going to match up with them. And then you begin to go back. Listen, I'm going to tell you, I pay attention to everything. I like to position myself where I can see stuff. And like you just stated about Bobby Wagner, that dude he is a middle linebacker and a leader all damn day.
You think he's playing, though? I don't think he's playing.
I don't know I'm not worried about if he's going to play or not. I'm just saying the way he's always educating guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's always educating and trying to get the things done. And to be honest with you, when we talked to Chin yesterday, he was saying how much he loved the trip last week and the trip this week, because what it does, it forces the veterans on the team to have to talk to the young guys and bring them along. I've argued for years about not going to camp, going away to camp, because when you're at home, you're going to go home when you got free time, not stay and talk to somebody. And I think these two trips are going to help this team a little more than it did for teams previously.
Look, they're in the locker room, they're not staying in position groups anymore. And on the road, we sat there last night outside the hotel, right? We were sitting there, having a little stogie and hanging out and watching the different groups of guys who are just hanging out, sitting at the table, and families are coming in and chatting and stuff. That's just as you said, back in the day, that wasn't happening back in the day. That was, you guys are out and about, and that was it. Now these guys are kind of chilling and kind of recovering from the day, getting ready for the next day. So yeah, you're right about Wagner. He won't play, but a guy like Frankie Louvu, who is all over the place. You think he's in one spot, and then he's not. He's right there in the face mask of some guys.
Yeah,
it's exciting to watch the growth of these guys. So I really want to see a great effort. The only negative yesterday was, Bo Bauer going down, and that was tough to see.
Yeah, you hate that, man. Yes. They rode the cart right past us, kind of where we were sitting, and you could see physically he's in pain, obviously, but it's also a guy that plays at Notre Dame. You know what I mean? Like he achieved something. What do you figure? Maybe 1% of football players can achieve even to get to that level, and then you wonder.
Yeah,
you could see like the mental anguish, I guess, of being an undrafted guy, and then we don't know the extent of the injury. We're not going to speculate on it, et cetera. Right. But sometimes you only get one chance at this thing.
Totally.
When he's being carted off, and we can see the helmet's down and he's shaking his head. When a player does that, they know that something is pretty much wrong.
Serious.
Again, not going to speculate, but it's just reading his own body language, which the other part of this is we get a chance to read body language of all the guys, healthy and not. And you see the guys who are up 24/7. You see the other guys who are worried about their jobs, other guys who aren't worried about their jobs. And for damn sure, the coaches, when they look back at that film, they're seeing it. And it's like, you get in your meetings, you're like, hey, dude, what's with them open, right? That's telling. And that's when it comes down to decision making, and Dan Quinn and the staff are talking to Adam Peters, that's one of the deciding factors. I don't know, guy. He I don't know. I don't feel it from him.
It's interesting.
It pops up.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's why tomorrow night is such a big opportunity, because if you've maybe through a week and a half haven't had your A game, but you show up tomorrow night and play an A game, you could totally change the course of your offseason, of your preseason.
The thing about this is you get to write your own story for the most part. And your story is written by your play, point blank.
And all that tape, it's a trite phrase, all that tape, all 31 other teams are going to see it. And so when I say you're playing like Jonathan Allen did last week, dressed up for the game and then spoke to the team before the game, like you're playing for not only your team, but 31 other teams to get yourself on tape. That's what's happening here tomorrow. I'm fascinated to see how Trace McSorley handles this. Dude was sitting in in-laws' house, gets a phone call. Hey, guy, we need a quarterback. You used to run some of the Cliff Kingsbury offense in Arizona. Why don't you come out here and join us? And physical, on a flight that night. And now he's playing for the team he grew up loving and driving by the complex every day of his young life. I mean, it's a really cool story. And, in D.C., the backups and the third-string quarterbacks become really good stories historically.
Yeah, totally.
I think, especially tomorrow night, it'll be it is wild. I was texting with some folks back home, like, how did Trace look? And I'm like, dude, he got here last night. Like, there's kind of a ceiling on how it's going to look,
totally.
This happened overnight. And yes, he played for Cliff 3 years ago, but things kind of change and evolve. But from the straight story of it, it's fascinating. And it's a fun little wrinkle for tomorrow night, because you get into the fourth quarter of some of these games, there's not a ton of what you're watching that will translate a month later. And I think that gives it just a totally different element.
But the cool thing is he has nothing, as he told me yesterday. I said, what are you playing for? Because I'm playing for me. I'm playing for all these guys. Again, going back to, we're putting stuff on tape for 31 of the teams, because I'm just trying to go out and not, any detriment to any other teammate. And so he's kind of playing free from that standpoint. There are no expectations on Trace McSorley in this offense. They won't have him running any plays that are really in the Commanders' playbook. They'll be basic.
Designed for him.
Right.
Right. And if this dude, drops back and makes a zippy throw to somebody, well, then just like what happened 2 days ago, another team, when they're in trouble, goes, hey, where's McSorley at? He just played a preseason game for the Commanders. Doesn't look too bad. At least he's serviceable to come in here and be a backup. Free, so we'll see.
Hey, what do you think about the kicker situation?
Well, I've actually gone at a tryout today during the walkthrough, so I don't want to say that out loud. I think when cuts are made, finally there'll be some other kickers that are available, and they'll continue to look. Riley Patterson kicks a high ball. Is he consistent in a game? I can't really measure that yet. In a practice, he's serviceable. So
I don't good day yesterday. He was
nobody blast the goalpost.
He was
like
3 for 3 or 4 for 4 yesterday from over 50. So he helped himself out some yesterday. Don't know if he solidified anything though.
No, I don't think that's the case. And I know Larry Izzo is still. He told us he's looking, make sure solidify that position. And we get another week and seeing the dynamic kickoffs. It's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna. Yeah. I think you'll see over the next couple of weeks, especially in the regular season, we're going to see some huge returns, because guys are going to figure out a way to make it happen with the blocking scheme, and you get a bigger guy back there, Brian Mitchell back there, who can bust through that first line, and it's over.
I think it's going to be a little bit more wrinkles to it too. I think everyone has lined up exactly how they saw the first diagram, with 2 people deep. And I think that's going to change a little bit, because you can put 3 people in that 20 to 30-yard range, where now you can't form a wedge, but you could do some cross blocking that can open up some holes.
Question, and you just need to get through that first gap. It's really catching you sideways, So that's and I like it. I like it, because I think the numbers are 21% of the kickoffs were returned last year. 21. That's really low for a league.
Even lower than that.
Yeah.
I'm cool with the rule change. I just hate that onside kicks are gone. That doesn't happen very often. I recognize that, but just that surprise element is out of the game. kind of sticks with me.
Yeah.
I got you.
Where